Hi again, it's Brian and welcome back to Hiking with me. Today we're off on Trig Walk number 31, starting from Lount, just by the Ferrers Arms. It's one of those routes that mixes quiet woodland, a bit of folklore and some cracking views. Our target, the Money Hill Trig Point, but along the way we'll be walking through Lount Woods, the old oddly named wilderness, the historic Staunton Harold estate, and even hopping onto the Ivanhoe Way for a stretch. Oh, and there's also talk of buried treasure, a witch who might still be guarding it, so let's get going. After parking on Pottery Lane, we cross the road and head down what looks like a simple farm track, but it's actually a lane leading to a few hidden houses. Before long we're out in the open country and the world feels a little bit quieter. We follow the path until it seems to run straight on, then there's a hidden gap on the left, easy to miss until you're right on top of it. You could go straight on, but today we're heading left to explore the secret of Lount Woods. You can hear the sound of the birds. So first up is Lount Woods. It's peaceful, shady, and one of those spots where all you can hear is the birds and the odd woodpecker, maybe a buzzard overhead. But did you know this place was once part of the old Charnwood Forest, and the name Lount comes from the Ferrers family, Norman lords who also gave their name to the pub we started at. There's a bit of history for you already. So we would have came out of there. In fact, got private road and unauthorised access. So can't go that way. So you come that way, you come out that way originally and turn right and head down here. And we're going to be heading to the wilderness. So it's just coming down here and then we turn left and this should take us eventually down to the wilderness. So I think you could have came that way if you wanted to. But we're heading this way towards Staunton Harold. When you get to the end of this road, well, the end of this green lane, you come to the track. Just in front of you is the wilderness. Looks like we can't get in the wilderness, so we're going to be turning right. That's it. Okay, next, this is the wilderness to our left. Next we're heading into what is called the wilderness. Sounds wild, right? But get this, it's all been carefully designed. Back in the 18th century, the Shirley family shaped the landscape to look natural and overgrown. This is what they're called ornamental woodlands. Inspired by folk like Capability Brown and Repton, the idea was to walk through and feel like you're in some ancient moody forest. Romantic, dramatic, and kind of like stepping into a painting. And here's where things get interesting. There's an old story about a witch of Tunnel Woods, a woman who lived alone near here. Locals blamed her for bad harvests, sick animals, or even sudden thunderstorms. Some reckon she carved protected ruins into the trees. Others whispered she was guarding something, maybe not so wild after all. Once you walked along this extremely busy track, we're turning left here. So you've got Staunton Harold Visitor Centre, that's why that road was so busy. So we're going to be heading down here. Unfortunately, we can't get into the wilderness, which is a shame. It's private. Now, this is Staunton Harold Church, built right in the middle of the English Civil War in 1653. Back then, church building was banned under the Puritans, but Sir Robert Shirley didn't care about that. He built it anyway and called it a house of God in a time of ruin. It was a pretty bold move back then. When you get to the end here, we're thinking about walking up that hill, but we're going to turn left and have a look over the bridge first. So this will take you into Staunton Harold. There's a nice route up there that we might actually do shortly. And here we are now at Staunton Harold Church. This was built in 1653, right in the middle of the English Civil War. At that time, under Oliver Cromwell's rule, it was actually illegal to build churches. The Puritan government saw it as wasteful and against their strict values. But Sir Robert Shirley, the young lord of the estate, defied the ban. Just in his mid-20s, he called this a house of God in a time of ruin, a bold act of defiance and faith. Because of it, Sir Robert was arrested. He was thrown into the Tower of London, where he tragically died just a few years later, aged only 27. Well, unfortunately we can't get to the gardens because they're private, but Staunton Harold looks like it does today thanks to two men. The first Earl Ferrers transformed the old Jacobean house into a Palladian mansion, surrounded by formal gardens of terraces and parterres, all captured in a famous 17th century engraving by Johannes Kip. Kip detailed bird eye view shows grand estates like this within the patterned gardens and sweeping parklands. This hopefully should take us to the Staunton Harold Arts and Crafts Centre. The estate ground has changed a lot since the old days. These days it's a home to the Ferrers Centre of Arts and Crafts, with lakes, gardens and walks that are now part of the growing National Forest. Over 9 million trees have been planted around here since the 1990s. That's a proper bit of rewilding. The car park. Just walk through the car park. It's going to be easier than walking on the road, and hopefully we should get up to, well, onto the path up this way. Okay, once you come out of the car park, we've got a gate, Marie Curie Cancer Care Field of Hope.
Yeah, exactly.
So going across here, and hopefully this is the route. So when you go through this kissing gate, I think it's going to be straight over the field. Then once you've gone through the swing gate, you keep to the edge of the woods. So this is Rough Heath. There's a private woodland, and unfortunately we can't get in there, which is a shame. It's a nice place to investigate, but it's pleasant walking around here. It looks like we're going to actually be getting into the woods. It looks like we're actually getting into the woods. We just go through here, through another swing gate, and this should take us into the woods, hopefully. Oh, actually it's not the woods. It's going to take us to the right. So by the looks of it, after being walking around the edge of the woods for a bit, we're going to be going just round here into here. A little bit overgrown, but when is it not overgrown? One thing I forgot to mention today, I'm actually going out for a walk with Henry and my mum. So I've got two people keeping me company. So I don't know what we're walking around here, but it looks rather nice. So keep going through all these swing gates and turnstiles. Not turnstiles, I don't know, I said turnstiles. So go through here, and this will take you out onto like a little country lane. You turn left and then turn right down here. So when you get to the end of that field, we're now on the Ivanhoe Way. It's amazing, Leicestershire is full of history, and if you follow the Ivanhoe Way you'll see it at every turn. The 35-mile loop which winds through some of the country's most beautiful landscape, but the trail's name that comes from Ivanhoe, the legendary novel by Sir Walter Scott, published in 1819. Scott's story of knights, outlaws and heroic quest capture imagination everywhere. And while Ivanhoe is fiction, Scott was inspired by the real history of the region. The Midlands were once the heart of the medieval England, a land of Norman castles, Saxon residents and forests that hid outlaws and rebels. The trail passes near Ashby-de-la-Zouch Castle, once a stronghold during the War of the Roses, and as you walk through the Charnwood Forest, you're following in the real footsteps of those who shaped the legends that Scott brought to life. So when you set out on the Ivanhoe Way, you're not just hiking, you're walking through the stories of England's past. So as you walk along around the edge of Heath End, you see all these signs. There seem to be a multitude of different paths around here. We're following the Ivanhoe Way. So the Ivanhoe Way crosses over the National Forest Way and the Cross Britain Way. Won't mind doing the Cross Britain Way one day with Henry. Then once you cross the field, you'll see another little stile, and obviously the yellow way marker. And you cross over here, it's signposted the National Forest Way. It's an easy path to follow as usual, walking past the woods. You go over a little bridge and just head up here. And cross over this road and follow the path over this direction. And I'm going to say it again, Henry crosses the stile in style. Then once you get into this field, You head over, so you walk into the woods, it's to your left hand side. So hopefully there should be like a little footbridge down there. We cross over there. The wind's picking up a bit now, so hopefully this isn't being picked up on my mic like last time. When you get to the woods, you'll see a yellow way marker. And keep the woods to the right hand side. And there should be another yellow way marker just down here. There's Henry and my mum waiting patiently for me. So let's just go through this gate. Then there's yet another gate to go through. Thank you. So crossing quite a few fields with sheep in. Oh, look at them all. Oh, there's a Velcro, Mum. There's a Velcro to see them. Then yet another swing gate to cross over. It's actually nice going along here, we'll see in the shade. Once you've passed through the swing gates, we turn right into the woods and follow along what's known as the Black Ditches. These ancient earthworks run quietly along the path, mostly hidden by trees now. No one's entirely sure how old they are. Some say the medieval boundaries, maybe marking out old hunting parks or estate land. Others believe they could go back even further to when the area was part of a great forest that covered so much of England. As we make our way deeper into the woods, we can really feel the change. And just ahead, we come to a small wooded bridge. The trail crosses over the Black Ditch themselves, a reminder of layers of history beneath our feet. So the National Forest Way and all the other walks takes you down here.
Is that alright, that side?
We've encountered our first bit of mud. Didn't think it'd ever be this muddy this time of year now, but that weren't too bad. Once you've gone through all the mud, and that was muddy, don't know what it's going to be like in the winter, probably be impassable. You go over that little bridge, and now we've all got muddy boots apart from Henry. This part of the trail, the Cross Britain Way, the National Forest and the Ivanhoe Trail, it's not the easiest part. We came across our first muddy patch in ages, and there's a load of overgrown branches. It's like it's never used around here. So that's Leicestershire Woods, part of the National Forest. Then I'm not too sure. I don't think we go down there. We're going to edge our bet. We've got a bear to the right here, Hen. Not sure. Let's carry on. It's either down here or I don't know. Then you just keep on this path. Obviously when I say path, it doesn't really mean a lot. But you just follow again the National Forest Way, Ivanhoe Way and the Cross Britain Way. So once you cross over this stile, we're going to head down there, and we're now not far from the trig point.
It's better be able to get to this trig point on this occasion.
I hope we can. I've got a feeling it's in that field. Oh. It's in the field. Once you've gone through the farmyard, and you walk down the obvious road, their main road, you turn left and you head down here. Well, the trig point is just over there somewhere. I'm going to see if I can actually find a way in. But I don't have 2 weeks worth of failed trig points. Our 31st trig point, Money Hill trig point. Spiders intact. Bit of an awkward one to get to, but we've done it. As for the name Money Hill, it comes from tales of coins being buried here. Maybe an offering, maybe stashed during unrest. Some say it was still hidden, and some reckon it's still guarded, maybe by the watchful figure in the woods. Who knows? Oh, that's quite good. I had to follow the tractor tracks across the field. It was a little bit hard to get to, and we don't want to get caught by the farmer. But that's the Money Hill trig point, which is our 31st trig point, or 30th one that we've actually seen. Oh, well, we're heading just down here. Instead of going through where we've got all the dogs barking, we're going to follow this path. It basically runs parallel. And after that slight little detour, missing the dogs out, we're back on the same route. So if you want to do this walk, if you want to miss the dogs, just turn left there, ends up through there. You miss all the dogs out. We've now left the Ivanhoe Way, the National Forest Way and the Cross-Britain Way, and we're now just walking down towards one of the farms. We'll loop back now to Easton Old Park, once part of a medieval hunting ground. I wonder that there used to be, probably an old farmhouse. Actually, it looks like it's been done up. Just before you get to Nottingham Road, you'll see a signpost. You turn left there, and this will take you to the back end of Lount Woods. And there's Lount Woods. And this will just bring out near Longwood Farm, and then into Lount. And then just in time for a nice refreshing pint. I have to say, I was starting to feel a bit uneasy making my way through these woods. There are signs everywhere saying private woods, and with no one else around, it feels quite like a step back in time. These woods are part of an old band of forest that once covered much of northwest Leicestershire. For centuries, places like this were thick with shadows, homes to outlaws, poachers, and in people's imaginations, witches and wandering spirits. They say that in these parts, where the woods run deep, old magic keeps. And standing here, you can see why people speak of strange orbs of light flickering through the trees or ghostly shapes glimpsing out of the corner of the eye. Maybe it's just a trick of the sun, or maybe it's something older. These woods have always been a hiding place, and today they still feel like they're holding some secrets. Oh, you eventually come to the end of the woods, and you've got like a lane. There's some gates just there. We're going to cross over there. Well, actually, you don't have to cross over anything. It looks like there's a fence here, but there's a gap just here. And you go through here. Obviously, Henry's going to let you go first. So you don't have to go through there, which I thought we did. You just walk down there. Get to the end here, and the car should be just up there.
Left or right?
Left. Well, it's just going to walk along this busy road for a bit, but by my reckonings, we've got about another quarter of a mile to go. Oh, that's Trig Walk number 31 done. I hope you enjoyed it. We visited quite a few things. Staunton Harold, the church, the Many Hill Trig Point, and many of the different things. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you and bye.